Mel, you can start now.
A very good morning and a mesmerizing Monday, everyone. A fresh start to a new week and a first day to begin with a new goal. I, Mehal Chaudhary, MOC for the Day 1 workshop on GST compliance. I'm esteemed to commence the Day 1 of workshop on GST compliance training for articles, which is organized by Pune branch of Vikasa ICAI, jointly with Ahmednagar, Amravati, Anand, Aurangabad, Bhuj, Bhavnagar, Goa, Ichalkaranji, Jalgaon, Kalyan, Dombivali, Nanded, Nasik, Navsari, Navi Mumbai, Pimpri Chinchwad, Ratnagiri, Sangli, Satara, Solapur, Surat, Thane, and Vasai branches of Vikasa of ICAI. On behalf of Pune Vikasa and all other branches, we are immensely delightful to welcome our today's session speaker, CA Swapnil Munot sir, Managing Committee Member of Pune Branch, CA Moshmi Shah ma'am, Chairman of Pune Vikasa, CA Sachin Minya sir, Chairman of Satara Vikasa, CA Rishikesh Wangre sir, Chairman of Amravati Vikasa, CA Vishnukant Soni sir. Now, I would like to request the Managing Committee Member of Pune Branch, CA Moshmi Shah ma'am, to deliver the opening address.
Thank you so much. A very good morning to everyone and a warm welcome to this workshop on GST. First and foremost, let me thank all the branches who have agreed to join this workshop for the benefit of the students. Thank you so much. We have with us 22 branches who are doing this workshop jointly with us. Thank you so much for this wonderful response. Without taking much time, as this workshop is on GST, let me tell you, GST was an important reform that took place in India, and it replaced multiple indirect taxes by the central and state governments and brought them under one uniform tax regime. GST was aimed to simplify the tax structure and improve the compliances, while also ensuring that the business can pass on the benefits of input tax credit to customers. In this workshop, we'll be discussing various aspects of GST, including its features, benefits, challenges, compliances, requirements. We'll also cover the latest amendments, the latest updates and changes that have taken place in GST. And for this, we have a wonderful line of speaker to start with. Today, we have with us CA Swapnil Munot sir, who is one of the best faculties in GST. He would be taking input tax credit, including block credits. And then followed by, we have various other eminent faculties, Chaitanya Vakharia sir, Sandeep Sachdeva sir, Jugal Doshi sir, Manoj Malpani sir. So this is going to be a thorough learning of GST, which will definitely help you. And I am sure any and every questions that we have on GST will be dealt by these faculties. I also thank these faculties for accepting our invitation and always being there with Pune branch for the lectures that we deliver on GST here. Thank you so much. A special thanks to Swapnil Munot sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So should I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I thanks to the newly elected chairman of our branch, Ajay Agarwal sir, Mosme ma'am, Sachin sir, then Rishikesh sir, and the MOC, I think Mehul, and I think around 22 or 23 plus Vikasa branches joined. I think it might be a very biggest online program by various Vikasa branches. So thanks to all the Vikasa committee for organizing this 5-day session. It's very important. Now we are approaching the year end, and GST is something always volatile. It is always unstable. Every time there are changes. So definitely this 5 days program will help the students in their while performing the work in the office, also while they in their studies also, because GST also is one of the subject as far I know in the inter or final. So I hope in the online session everyone has a liberty. their videos will be off, so they will be doing various activities, and it's a morning sessions. So also Vikasa session, always remember me that that I am still a student. आपको सुबह 8 बजे से 7 बजे से काम को लगना पड़ता है. So but while doing so, I request everyone, please be a patient full, and please be a little as far as जितना possible तो attentive रहिए. The first topic is input tax credit. Our today's topic. I'll just share my presentation. Ma'am, my presentation is visible, na? Bosu ma'am, Sajin sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. So, friends, the input tax credit. I request all of you to be kindly response in the chat box or question answer box. You can reply, so that will make little interactive session. So, anyone is aware what is input tax credit? So, if you see the background image, purposefully I have selected this image. The input tax credit is a very important factor for any organization, any manufacturing companies. It consists of almost 18% of their cost of production. And there is a lot more we can do in this. If you can maximize the credit, you can win the client. You can ensure that client will be with you always. And this input tax credit chapter, or I will say the topic, is changing every other GST council meeting. जो इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट 2017 में हमने देखा था, उसके कंसेप्ट जो थे, जो कंडीशंस थे, उसमें काफी हद तक चेंजेस हो गए हैं. एंड जब तक आप लोग सीए बनोगे तब तक और चेंजेस हो जाएंगे उसमें. So again, there is opportunity. When there is a changes, there is opportunity that we can explore more. We can provide good services. So rightly replied by Shubha that input tax credit means tax on the purchase. Okay, if it charge is disabled, you can reply in the question answer box.
Admin, please check कि chat box is enabled so that people can simply.
So it's a first session and also morning 8 first day of the week. So I am sure आप में से कुछ लोग अभी भी बेड पे होंगे. So but वो सब आप जो भी आपके एक्टिविटी कर रहे हो वो करते हो, अटेंड यहाँ पे ध्यान रखना, क्योंकि ये टॉपिक काफी डिफिकल्ट भी है और काफी सिंपल भी है. आप अगर इसको प्रैक्टिकली समझोगे, इफ यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इट प्रैक्टिकली, इट इज वेरी इजी एंड वेरी अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक. आपको क्लाइंट एकदम सिंपल क्वेरी पूछते हैं जो कि बड़े बड़े कंपनी के सीईओ सीएफओ होते हैं, और आपके लिए एकदम चुटकी जैसा आंसर होता है, प्रोवाइडेड यू नो द कंसेप्ट्स. सो आप ऐसे मुझे रिएक्शन दे भी नहीं पाओगे, आपके शायद वीडियो ऑफ हो गए, बट आई रिक्वेस्ट प्लीज बी विथ मी एंड बी अटेंटिव. नाउ इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट इज द हार्ट ऑफ जीएसटी, राइट? So it's very important concept. I will say that without input tax credit, GST is totally incomplete. So if you know the input tax credit, we know the GST. Now before we proceed, it is very important we should understand कि ये जो GST लाया था, इसके स्टेटमेंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट लाने के पहले कोई भी चीज जब की जाती है, क्यों कर रहे हैं ऐसा गवर्नमेंट लिखती है, जब एक्ट इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाता है उसको स्टेटमेंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट बोला जाता है. So what is mentioned in regards to input tax credit? Let us understand. This is very important because ये कोर्ट्स के अलग अलग जजमेंट में रेफर किया जा रहा है और आगे किया जाएगा. जब भी हमें लॉ की कोई प्रोविजन थोड़ी ज्यादा हार्श लग रही है, थोड़ी ऐसे लग रही है कि शायद ये गलत है, तो इस केसेस में हमको स्टेटमेंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट रेफर करना पड़ता है कि दिस इज अ प्रोविजन व्हिच इज एक्सेसिव रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, दिस शुड नॉट बी देयर, दिस इज नॉट द पर्पस ऑफ जीएसटी, एंड फिर हम उसको आर्ग्यू कर सकते हैं, बट वी शुड नो दैट. So let us understand the statement of object. This is the actual wording of the bare act while introducing. So जो highlighted part किया हुआ है, that we will refer. So we will refer only with respect to input tax credit. So why GST introduced? The statement of object and reason. There is a cascading of taxes as levied by central government are not available set off against tax levied by state government. So just CGST पहले वैट था और एक्साइज ड्यूटी सर्विस टैक्स था, एक दूसरे के साथ दोनों का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता था, इसलिए हम जीएसटी ला रहे हैं. सो अगर मान लो कभी फ्यूचर में ऐसा हो जाता है कि हमें स्टेट का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है, सो वी कैन आर्ग्यू बेस्ड ऑन दिस द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट व्हाइल इंट्रोड्यूसिंग द एक्ट. दिस इज प्रेजेंटेड इन द पार्लियामेंट कि हमें क्यों ला रहे हैं. We are introducing GST because we want to have a seamless transfer of input tax credit. Seamless transfer मतलब एकदम सरलता से क्रेडिट एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दूसरे जगह पे फ्लो होना चाहिए, एकदम सिंपल होना चाहिए. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज बताई गई है इस ऑब्जेक्ट में, इस रीजन में. और जीएसटी का जो इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट टॉपिक है, it has become so complicated that every organization, I am not saying 100%, but 99% there will be some issues, some mistakes, some irregularity when it comes to input tax credit. हर बार कुछ ना कुछ कंडीशंस, कंप्लायंसेस, सप्लायर ने टैक्स भरा है नहीं भरा है वो सब चेक करना पड़ता है, कुछ नए फॉर्म्स आ जाते हैं, and it has become little complicated, little I will say more complicated. So ये जो चाहते थी गवर्नमेंट कि हम जब जीएसटी लाएंगे तो सीमलेस ट्रांसफर ऑफ क्रेडिट होगा, वो कहीं ना कहीं पे आज नहीं हो रहा है. इट इज बिकमिंग सीलेस, कम दिख रहा है. नाउ जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट किया गया था 2016 में जीएसटी लाने के लिए, पहले कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंड किया गया था टू एम्पावर द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट टू इंट्रोड्यूस और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट टू इंट्रोड्यूस द सीजीएसटी एचजीएसटी एक्ट. सो उसके एक्ट में भी लिखा गया था इट इज इंटेंडेड टू रिमूव द कैस्केडिंग. टैक्स के ऊपर टैक्स नहीं लगना चाहिए, क्रेडिट का सेटअप मिलना चाहिए. सो ऑल दिस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग वी शुड ऑलवेज रिमेंबर. आप जब भी आप आगे जाके सीए बनोगे और आपको कोई चीज में आप जब काम करोगे आपको लगेगा ये गलत है, इसका क्रेडिट मिलना चाहिए, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. अदरवाइज ये कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज करेगा, ये कैस्केडिंग करेगा. तो आप ऐसे केसेस में अगर कोई कोर्ट में पिटीशन डालने वाले होगे तो ये स्टेटमेंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट को आपको रेफर करना पड़ेगा, और ये इजीली नहीं मिलता, आपको बहुत गूगल करना पड़ेगा इसको मिलने के लिए. बट फॉर यू पीपल आई हैव जस्ट गैदर्ड ऑल दिस थिंग्स for easy reference. Now let us understand the budget speech of 2020. This is the actual wording of our honorable finance minister. Deep data analytical and AI tools are being used for crackdown on GST frauds. Invoice and input tax credit matching is being done when returns having mismatch. So here government is saying GST में जो frauds हो रहे हैं इसके लिए हम AI यूज कर रहे हैं, artificial intelligence. And the input tax credit matching is done. So input tax credit matching. आप में से बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स अभी ऑफिसेस में काम करते होंगे, तो आप लोग जीएसटी के मैच करते हैं. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर स्टिल येट टू जॉइन द एनी ऑफिसेस? आई जस्ट वांटेड टू नो द फ्रॉम द अटेंडीज सो दैट आई विल गेट एन आइडिया आपको बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग या नहीं है. प्लीज. So how many of you have not joined the offices yet or not working? So that I will presume that at least you know the basic feature of GST. GST, there is a GST portal, there is a CGST, HGST, there is a GSTR1, GSTR3B. So all of you joined? Or so almost all of you are joined, right? So you know that we while working in the office we are doing all this GSTR 2A to be matching. You know, our honorable finance minister also knows that ये करना पड़ता है. This is required to be done, right? So, and this is a part of budget speech, friends. This is not a small thing. If anyone of you have listened the budget speech of 2023, there was not a single word on the GST, zero discussion on the GST. But if there are 20-30 words in the budget speech of 2020, government was that much serious on this input tax credit part. We are using AI, artificial intelligence. Friends, my suggestion to all of you, I always give this: always be with the technology, whichever subject you like, but do the expertise mastery when it comes to system, computers, artificial intelligence, because the future is of AI. I have read one very good line about the AI. AI is not going to replace you, but the person who is using AI will replace you. So always be in the student age, be eager to learn the technology, try to learn the various different features of Excel, macros, and VBA, etc. This will give a different age to your personality. So the now come back to our discussion that budget speech, that ITC. You know, there's a target to the government also that they want that much of collection of tax revenue so that they can do the expenditure. I'm sure you must be hearing on the WhatsApp that government has collected that much of tax in a month, etc., etc. So consistently, since last 1 year, this amount is near to 1.5 lakh crore every month GST collection of the government, central government, state government collectively. So 1.5 lakhs crore. This has substantially increased because of the restriction which government has put on input tax credit since last 2 years or 1.5 years. Before that, this amount was ranging 1,20,000 crore, 1,15,000 crore, 1,25,000 crore, or sometimes there might be in the March month, this amount will be nearing to 1,40,000, 1,50,000. But now every month this is near or approx to 1.5 lakh crore. Why so? Because of the restriction which government has put on the input tax credit. There were some people who were using the fraudulent credit. They used to follow the wrong practices. Since all of you know GST and all of you are working, so my question to all of you is GST and VAT. Earlier there was a VAT. Different or both are same conceptually? So please reply. So GST, we have a GST, and earlier there was a VAT. So conceptually, whether both are different or both are same. So Lakshay is saying different. Some people, Pratiksha, okay, different. Divya, different. OnePlus, different. Okay, friends, we should learn any subject from its core. It's very easy. Just go through the example. GST and VAT is not different conceptually. Both are the same. Shishti is saying same, right? So Shishti is right and also is saying same. And those who are saying different, if you just go through the example or which we'll discuss, see the example. There is a telephone shopping. It has bought the mobile at rupees 10,000, right? And they have paid the GST 900. Now they have sold this mobile at 15,000, on which GST is 1350, right? We'll just understand one transaction. Now, what is the net liability of this telephone shopping? Net liability after availing the set off. On the sales liability is 1350. On the purchase, the credit is 900. So what is the liability, net liability? Right. So 450. Now 900 is total liability, right? And what is the profit margin of the telephone shop in this transaction? You have correctly, all of you have written, given the correct answer. So 450 is the net liability. So what is the profit margin? 5,000, right? So on this 5,000, if you calculate 18%, the amount will 900. I hope all of you are getting this. It's very important. We should understand this, that GST and VAT is not different conceptually. Both are the same. GST is also tax on value addition only. It is not different than the VAT. It's just that in India we had the VAT on the goods earlier. Therefore, we have introduced the act with a different name as GST. In many countries, they have a VAT, but it is a GST only, or GST VAT or VAT GST. I hope you understood now. So GST is also tax on the value addition only. It is not different than the VAT. In our country, when we introduced the VAT in 2002 or 2005, I think, so that time it was only on the goods and that too the power was given to the state only. So when we were introducing a single levy for the state and center, we named it as a GST, goods and service tax. But conceptually, both are the same. The tax on the value addition. So on the 5,000, the profit margin of the telephone shop is a 5,000, on which if you calculate 18%, it will come to 900, 450, which was equal to net liability of the entity. I hope you understood. This is very important. If any still confused, please mention in the chat box so that we proceed. So today your first concept is now clear that GST is not different than VAT. And if you study, I think 150 plus countries around the GST or VAT is there. So some country has named it as a VAT and some country has named it as a GST. Now, let us, before we proceed about the conditions and of what we can get the credit, let us understand some definitions. So what is input tax credit? Input tax, the simplest definition in GST, input tax credit means credit of input tax. But they are given another definition of input tax. So input tax in relation to registered person, it means CGST, HGST, IGST, UTGST, charge on the supply of goods or services. It includes the tax payable under reverse charge, but it excludes the composition levy. So input tax means tax paid on the purchases. It includes the tax liability on your RCM, but it excludes the composition levy. Now, what is the meaning of capital goods, inputs and input services? Friends, when I was doing the CA, that time this definitions was running into 2-3 pages in the excise era. So capital goods means they have given the very big list. These are the capital goods, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 items. Then inputs they have defined, then input service they have defined. Now understand the philosophy GST. GST is a cocktail of excise service tax provision and VAT provision. The law part in the GST, law part, legal provision part has been taken from the excise and service tax provision. And when it comes to return compliance part, it has been taken from the VAT. And this is how we have made the GST. Now these capital goods input and input service were defined in earlier law also, but definition were complicated. In GST, they have defined the capital goods mean anything which is capitalized in the books of accounts. Very simple definition. Inputs means anything other than the capital goods, and input service means any services used in the businesses. So very simple definition they have given. Now why we require these definitions? We require this definition mainly while doing the working for the GST refunds and while taking the credit where at the first instance of registration. Otherwise, we don't require this classification. In earlier time, in earlier era, we were required to take the credit separately for the capital goods, inputs, input services. There are a lot of disclosure of also a different disclosure were there for this three things. But now in GST, it is not that complicated, or hardly will require to refer this definitions. So capital goods, we all know. Inputs means simply you can say that raw material. It's a raw material. And input services means services used by the entity. Like if entity is appointed as CA for doing its audit, so chartered account services, input services. Now, credit is allowed of what? Section 16. I'm sure. I think this must be in your syllabus, right? You must have gone through this definition. Yes or no? Okay, right. So every registered person subject to section 49 entitled to take the credit of input tax charged on the supply of goods or services which are used or intended to be used in the course or furtherance of his business, and said amount shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger of the such person. So many times you'll get a query from the client that, sir, can we take the credit of this? Sir, can we get the credit of this? This is a very important section which we should refer. Section 16. Can we take or can we not take? The important criteria to the credit is that it should be in the course or furtherance of business. It is in relation to the business. There's always an ambiguity, or while doing the audit or while verifying the records, will come to some transaction which will raise a doubt. Can we take the credit? Whether it is really in the course or furtherance of business, whether it is blocked or not blocked. For an just sake of a discussion, garden maintenance. So company is maintaining the garden. For that, they hired a vendor. That vendor is charging 1 lakh rupees per month, 18,000 GST. So can company get the credit? So always there is used litigation earlier on this, and therefore in GST government has used the word in the course or furtherance of business. In earlier laws, the word was directly, indirectly in relation to the manufacturing or in relation to the business. That word was there, but in GST the word uses in the course or furtherance of business purposefully. So that I remember that in one of the seminar, it was asked to the department officials who drafted these provisions that why you use this word and what is the meaning of it. It is not defined in GST. What is the meaning of in the course or furtherance? So it was replied that time that purposefully are not defined what is the meaning of in the course or furtherance. We want to that everything in relation to business. If you are doing the expenditure for business, you should get the credit. Otherwise, if they define it directly, indirectly, in excise areas, there are a lot of disputes, a lot of litigation on this, that directly, indirectly, in relation to manufacturing or not. Some, for example, advertisement expenditure. It is not in relation to manufacturing. It is after post-production expenditure. So credit sometimes not denied. In GST, now they are saying in the course of furtherance of business. So जो भी चीज आप business के लिए करते हो, जो भी खर्चा आप business के लिए करोगे, you will get the credit of everything. Now, but the term business they have defined. What is the meaning of business? And this is required at various instances. Just for the ITC, we'll refer the red highlighted part. Though the so business includes any trade, commerce, manufacturing, profession, vocation, adventure. My slide is not visible.
Visible, sir.
Visible, na? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, Suji, there might be some problem to your network. So someone asks the credit, can we take the credit of furniture? Yes, we can get the credit of furniture. In fact, friends, after introduction of GST, as a consultant, as a chartered accountant, we as auditor, we can also get the huge credit every year. We can get the credit of laptops, we can get the furniture, provided it is movable, all repair maintenance activity. If you are buying any software, you can get the credit. Earlier, before GST, we were not allowed to get the credit. So in GST, if our office purchase 10 laptops, 10 computers, they can get the credit. So what is the business? Any trade in connection with or incidental ancillary activity, volume, frequency, continue doesn't matter. It should be in connection with commencement or closure of business. So any activity in respect of closure of business is also you can get the credit. You appointed a person for doing the liquidation. Hello. Yeah. So all this activity, here you can see that provision of by club, by association, by society, everything is business. So we can get the credit of all the activity, provided it is not restricted in the section 17.5, which we are going to discuss. If you have any question whether we can get the credit or not, just you can mention the chat box. So flight ticket, yes, definitely. Purva, we can get the credit for you are traveling somewhere for your official work, definitely you can get the credit. And when it comes to flight ticket, friends, just to tell you, for your information, there are two types of credit. When you are booking the ticket, For example, from Make My Trip. So you have paid that 15,000 for your flight tickets. Then you will get an invoice that this is amount of GST. That credit you can take. But there is also one more credit which you can get, that the airline agencies also raise the invoice, which people are not aware. So airline agencies also raise out of that 15,000, assuming 13,000 is airline charges. So on the 13,000 also there is a GST, of which we also can get the credit. We should have that invoice. We are required to go to that airline website. For example, Air India, you will go on the Air India, you will mention your ticket details and you can get that invoice also. So there are two types of credit we can get in while traveling by flight. And both invoices we also get in our name also. But people, they sometimes they ignore to take, sometimes they take the only one credit. And when you will see your 2B, there you can see that two details are coming, two separate invoices are coming for the same journey, because both are the different services. Make My Trip is just charging this GST on their service charges, and airlines entities are charging the GST on their travel charges. Now let's move to section 16.2. First, so section 16.1 says we can get the credit of everything in relation to business in the course of furtherance of business. Where this word you might have also heard, this in the course of furtherance of business. Just try to recall your studies that in the course of furtherance of business, which we discuss right now, it's in the section 16.1, right? This word is also at somewhere other in the GST. It's in some other provision, which is that it's a very important provision. Anyone remember? Yes, scope of supply. So while defining the supply, they are saying that supply includes all type of activities, barter, sale, lease, rental, exchange, which is in the course of furtherance of business. So when it comes to asking the GST, it is everything. And when it comes to taking the credit, it is also everything. So they have used the same word in the supply also, but they have not defined the meaning of in the course of furtherance of business purposefully, that they don't want to limit this. It should be endless, because every business is different, and with the advent of technology, the new business practice is also getting developed. Now section 16.2 restrict the credit or puts the condition on the credit. Here the credit input tax credit chapter start becoming little difficult, and here it's our role as chartered accountant. We can guide the client. आप इसका क्रेडिट ले सकते हो, आप इसका क्रेडिट नहीं ले सकते हो, ये लेने के लिए आपको ये कंडीशन का कंप्लायंस करना जरूरी है, या आप इसको यहाँ पे ये सिस्टम लगाइए. So subject to below condition, you can get the credit subject to below condition. First, taxpayer should be in the possession of tax invoice, debit note, and such other document. So taxpayer should be in the possession of tax invoice, debit note. Now, assuming you are going for a verification of a big manufacturing company or big export-oriented unit or SEZ or somewhere, and you will see that they're having the every month 10, 20, 30 files, might be 3-4 thousands of procurements, and they have taken the credit. They are having the document. They will say that we have document. But friends, the tax invoice, the important condition of tax invoice, that it should be signed. Many times people send the scan copy on the invoices, and the buyer print that document and record it in the books of accounts and take the credit. For taking the credit, recording the books of accounts, okay. But when there is a GST audit, the officer will raise a query on the authentication of document, that this document is not authenticated, will deny you the credit. So it is one of the part of our audit checklist that whether the document on which credit is taken is a correct document, whether it is signed originally or it is digitally signed. If it is a photo signature, not allowed. If it is scan copy, not allowed. If it is mentioned that it is electronic invoice signature not required, not allowed. These all issues when you will face the GST audit. That time officer will try to find out some issues. जैसे हम audit को जाते हैं और हम कोशिश करते हैं कुछ ना कुछ query निकाले, कुछ ना कुछ observation निकाले. तो वैसे जब GST officer भी audit करते हैं, so they also try to find out the liabilities for the government, some mistakes, some errors. So they will randomly verify your records. And if they observe that there are some invoices on which the credit is taken, but the original copy is not with the client, or signed copy is not there, then they will say that we are denying this credit. So better, my suggestion is that you should guide the client that, sir, kindly have the original copy of the record, either physically signed or digitally signed. Photocopy, image, or electronic invoice signature not required. This is not correct. This is not the compliance of this condition. Now the second condition, that the details of invoices has been furnished by supplier in the statement of outward supply and has been communicated to recipient. Now this is for the GST 2A to B. This condition was not there. I think it was introduced by Finance Act 2020. So in 2017, the second condition was not there. When GST was introduced, that second condition was not there. It was added afterwards. कि आपको credit कब मिलेगा? When it is added, when the details of the same has been furnished by the supplier and been communicated to recipient. उसने दिखाना चाहिए और आपको दिखना चाहिए, तभी हम आपको credit देंगे. Taxpayer has received the goods or services. A received condition. To get the credit, you must have received the goods and services. Now, friends, we all become the experts and we start discussing any provision without understanding the reason behind it. In 2017, when GST was introduced, and there was also this concept that supplier will show, buyer will get the credit. That time, I used to think that why this received condition is there. What is the requirement of received? Supplier is disclosing, buyer is able to see it, and everything is going to be electronically. Why government want this condition that I must have received the goods or services? But today, this is very important thing. Many fraudulent activity, bills को sell किया जाता है सिर्फ without supply. ऐसे बिल दे जाते हैं, invoices खरीदे जाते हैं, कुछ expense बढ़ाने के लिए, कुछ turnover बढ़ाने के लिए. तो ऐसे cases में the important non-compliance is that such people have not received the goods and services. और उस condition की वजह से उनके ऊपर action होती है. This is fraudulent, bogus, fictitious, fake invoicing. You have just booked the invoice, but you have not received that goods, and therefore all the proceedings under GST, including imprisonment, is taken. Now such credit should not be restricted under Section 38. Now Section 38 is again new condition. Now Section 38 restrict the credit. However, Section 38 is saying that it will be we will prescribe the conditions for the same. So right now government has just created a provision that in which cases additional conditions under Section 38 they will restrict the credit. But in Section 38, if you go to Section 38, Section 38 is saying that will prescribe. So again, some conditions on the way. It's WIP. It might be in our next seminar. Government might have notified that condition. Another thing is that the tax charge in respect of such supply is actually paid to the government. It means as a buyer, when I am taking the credit, my supplier must have paid the tax. And I have furnished my returns. So these are all conditions I need to satisfy before taking the credit. I hope this is clear. Any question? Sir, how we will prove that the receipts are produced bogus bills? See, Bhushan, if any taxpayer is doing a fraudulent activity and he is booking the fake invoicing, he is not receiving the goods or services, how we can check it? Here, our analytical mind, you just audit it, you just verify the records, you just understand for example, just since you are asking the question, assuming a person has a turnover of 100 crore, and out of that, assuming that 30 crores or 40 crores is bogus billing, he has bogusly booked the purchases. Now your question is, how will come to know that? As an auditor mindset, we should verify the record. वो CID जैसा हमें investigation करना चाहिए, पूछना चाहिए, discuss करना चाहिए. For example, you can compare the electricity consumption. Assuming last year the turnover was 50 crore, and the result consumed was X. So it should be double in next year. But if it is also same, but turnover is only doubling, then there's something issue. And also, when people are buying from the bogus suppliers, nowadays they have been tracked by the government. AI, artificial intelligence. I will proudly say that the government of India is using the AI tool in a very advanced way. They are doing a lot of expenditure, 5-10,000 crores, so that they can get the reports of fraudulent people. So government has a data around 10-20,000 taxpayer who have taken the bogus registration, and they have bogusly passed on the credit. Assuming why we can take the credit on room booked in the hotel outside the Maharashtra? Why we can't? So Purva, you are saying that why we can't get the credit of ITC on the room booked in the hotel outside Maharashtra? Very good question, Purva. This, in fact, for that purpose, you refer the discussion which we had initially, the statement of object, that government want to give the credit of other states also. So this restriction, Purva, is not as such directly in GST, but it is an inbuilt feature in the portal. But if this matter goes to Supreme Court, I think government should allow this credit. They have not clarified it anywhere that will not give the credit, but the way they have designed the system, GST portal, it is not allowing us the credit of other state. Now, when you are asking the question that why I cannot get the credit of SGST of other state, my question is that why we should not get CGST credit of other state of hotel booking? I should get. The purpose of GST here is curtail in such cases. In fact, there are 2-3 advanced ruling also. And my personal opinion is that government should allow us that credit. There is no point in denying it that. But the way portal is designed, it is automatically is restricted. Now, the third condition we should discuss, that I must have received the goods or services. All of you are aware that bill to ship to model. What is bill to ship to model? Anyone who is here who is not aware of the bill to ship to? Bill to ship to model. So Shrustiga saying yes. Anyone is here, so that I will explain, because I need to explain one condition. So Abhijit is saying no. Okay. Bill to ship is very simple one. Assuming you're buying some goods from Amazon, so but you wanted to give to XYZ person, so you will mention bill to your name and ship to another person. So bill to ship to model in industry, it's used widely. So 3-party transactions. I will order the product, but delivery will be with some another entity. I hope you understood. Sometimes there are 4 different addresses will come. So 3 normally comes when it comes to bill to ship to model. So now in case of bill to ship to model, assuming there is a company ABC Limited that it has ordered the goods from the Rishikesh Limited, but asked to give the delivery to the Mehul Limited. So ABC Limited has not received the goods. Can ABC Limited get the credit in such case? I think my question is clear. Assuming I have ordered the goods, I have bought the goods from Rishikesh, but I asked him, Rishikesh sir, to give delivery to the Nikhil. So give the delivery to Nikhil, who is in Mumbai. I am in Pune. Rishikesh, I think, in Satara. So I have not received the goods, but I have asked to deliver this goods to Nikhil in Mumbai. So credit is available because I have not received. Yes, it is available because it is a deeming fiction. Law says that in such cases, when the Nikhil receives the goods, it is assumed that I have received the goods and I can get the credit. Now, deeming fiction. Friends, in laws, you'll get such kind of deeming fictions. What is deeming fictions? Whether you feel it is correct or not correct, law assumes that this is the scenario, this is the condition, this is a procedure, then only you can get the credit. For example, सूरज कहां से उठता है, ईस्ट और वेस्ट, राइट, ईस्ट. बट अज्यूमिंग इन लॉ इट इज मेंशन नहीं, सूरज वेस्ट से ही रहेगा, तो आपको गलत भी लगे तभी भी वही होगा. इसको बोलते हैं डीमिंग फिक्शन. तो बहुत बार लॉ में से बोला था इट इज डीम्ड दैट, इट इज डीम्ड दैट. सो डीमिंग फिक्शन. Now goods received in lots. Sometimes taxpayer will receive the goods in lots. There's a big machinery, it's coming in parts, it is manufactured and the lots are coming, and the client is asking you query, can I get the credit? So assuming a company has bought a machine of 50 crores, that machine will be delivered in 3 parts, and at the time of delivery of each parts, the supplier is raising the invoice. Client is asking you a query, can I get the credit? No, you cannot get the credit. You can get the credit upon last receipt, last installment only. Now what is the maximum? Now this condition, maximum time limit for payment to the supplier. It's a very important condition and mostly non-complied by many MSME. That GST law says that in order to retain the credit, you should ensure that you must have paid to your supplier within 180 days of value and tax, both amount. So buyer should ensure that he must have paid to his supplier within 180 days of value plus tax. Now this provision is introduced in order to protect the MSME so that they can receive the payments from their supplier or from their customer, and they can make the payment of tax to the government. However, it is killing the MSME. Many MSME, they are defaulting these provisions. They are not making the payment to their supplier within 180 days, and which is attracting the ITC reversal. This is very important non-compliance happening. Government should try to relax this provision or try to make some changes in this condition. When I had a discussion on this with our honorable finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman madam, this provision, I recollect my discussion that this provision government introduced with a very good intention, that you want to ensure कि बाबा ये जो छोटे-छोटे businessmen होते हैं, इनको इनका payment मिला इस बड़े कंपनी की तरफ से, because dominating होते हैं. So GST में भी condition डाल दी, जैसे MSME Act में भी कुछ conditions है. So GST Act में condition डाल दी कि अगर सामने वाले को credit लेना है, तो he should ensure that he must have paid within 180 days. But what is happening that MSME, it's already in the financial problem, there's a working capital problem. Their 20, 30, 40, 50% payments are delayed by 180 days also. They are already struggling for their survival. And the COVID period was also there. Because of that, almost all the MSMEs are non-compliant when it comes to this provision. The huge amount of ITC reversal is there. Huge amount of demand notice is there. A hanging demand notice in front of all this MSME. I requested our honorable finance minister that time that we should try to realize this provision. But as of now, government is not in the mood to realize this provision. And sometimes as a business transaction, supplier will say, you make the payment to me in 1 year. Assuming the same machine, 50 crore machine, it's a big amount of machine I'm buying. Supplier will say, no, I give you enough credit of 2 years. You make the payment in 2 years, no problem. So when supplier is allowing me, why GST law should restrict me? But this condition is there. So you should guide your clients. That, sir, in your case, we are observing that in most 30-40% cases, you are not making the payment to supplier within 180 days. Here the ITC reversal is there, 20% hit is there, almost 18% hit is there. So kindly make the payment within 180 days, else reverse the credit. We as a chartered accountant, we should focus on the value addition. What value we can add to the organization. Many businessmen, they are not aware of this provision, or they are aware but they are ignoring it. चलो देखेंगे, सोचेंगे, जब होगा तब देखेंगे. और जब बड़ा सारा एक लव लेटर आता है 10-15 करोड़ के नोटिस का, तब बोलते हैं, अरे आपने बताया क्यों नहीं हमें, आपका काम था, आपने बताया नहीं हमें. हम बोलेंगे हाँ सर हमने बताया था, बाद में वो बोलेंगे आपने फॉलोअप क्यों नहीं किया. सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजन. every part of internal audit, wherever you are going for verification for GST records or internal audit, ensure that whether taxpayer is complying this provision or not. It's a big hit on every business entity. Now, maximum time limit to take the credit 16.4. Now it is again recently amended. Earlier it was September return or 20th October date. Now it is 30th November. Might be in your academics books you have read that 20th October or September month return due date in 16.4. So maximum time to claim the credit. You can claim the credit only till, earlier it was September month return due date. Now it is 30th November. Friends, this is again important part. In our office, we always ensure that we claim the credit for the taxpayer within the time. We remind them by mails. Like for example, in the March, we will send them mail. Dear sir, kindly ensure to claim the credit by 30th November. We'll again remind them 2, 3, 4 times. But I have seen and I am seeing number of cases where taxpayer have failed to claim the credit, and now department is disallowing their credit. I have a notice in front of me right now on my table where 6 crores of credit is disallowed, denied just because of 9 days delays, only 9 days delays. So, Ujjwala, if my presentation is not visible, might be some problem with your network. So, this is again very important condition. Many taxpayers they fail to claim the credit. क्या होता है, वो जो बंदा होता है परचेस का कंपनी में, वो उसके ड्रॉवर में सब इनवॉइस रखता है, फिर उसके बाद वो कंपनी छोड़ता है, नया बंदा आता है, उसमें से कुछ रिकॉर्ड करता है, कुछ रिकॉर्ड करना भूल जाता है, और कुछ भी रीजन हो सकते हैं. इन सच सिनारियो कभी कभी ऐसे हो जाता है, कभी कभी कुछ इनवॉइस का अप्रूवल जो टीम होती है प्रोक्योरमेंट वो नहीं देती है, वो रह जाता है, अटक जाता है, और इसके वजह से लगभग बड़े अमाउंट के ट्रांजैक्शन छूट जाते हैं क्रेडिट लेने के, और ऐसा हो रहा है. So again, as an our role chartered accountant, we can add a value to organization. We can help them in ensuring that they will take their 100% credit before 30th November. See, assuming you, after doing all the records verification, you have come to a conclusion that there is a 5 lakhs credit, which 550 lakhs credit, which company is missed. So company will be very happy with your services. Say that they will say that, okay, मेरे लोगों ने नहीं ढूंढा, but मेरे CA ने ढूंढ के दिया. They will happy to give a good fee, 2-3 lakhs rupees fee. So always have that focus. We should not be a cost to the client. We should be a value addition to our clients. If we try to work on that approach, no one can restrict your growth. We'll get big companies, big clients in future. So maximum time to claim the credit. So now this is the section 16.234 which we discussed. It is restricting the credit. If you remember our initial discussion, we started with the statement of object. Wherever you are feeling that this provision is not correct, it is excessive restrictions, and your client has received notice, while disputing that, while replying that, while doing the submission for that, you should refer the statement of object. देखिए साहब, आप ये जो बोल रहे हो कि हमने क्रेडिट लेना चाहिए था, नहीं ले पाए, कोविड का जमाना था, कोविड का प्रॉब्लम था, 9 दिन का डिले हुआ है, बट आप याद रखिए जो स्टेटमेंट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट आपने जीएसटी लाया था कि यू वांट टू ब्रिंग जीएसटी टू अवॉइड कैस्केडिंग, टू सीमलेस क्रेडिट, to make the India as an ease of doing business destination for the world. 9 days delay, you are restricting me by 6 crore amount. It's a substantial benefit. It's my vested right. You are denying it just for 9 days delay. Not correct. Procedure, there is a concept in all the laws. See, for the procedural non-compliance, government should not deny the substantial benefit. For procedural lapse, for example, I am filing my late return. So late return, there is late fee. I am paying late payment of taxes. There is interest. The procedural lapse is there. There will be procedural fees will be there. Penalty will be there. But government should not deny me my substantial benefit, which is happening in GST in case of ITC, input tax credit. Just small mistakes, just small delay, and here my huge credit is in the question now. the hanging demand of big amount. Now, furthermore condition on the ITC part. I hope you are getting the interest. My speed is okay, friends. Yes, so all of you are with me, not sleeping or not on the WhatsApp, right? I'm trying that. I will teach this topic in a very easy manner with practical examples, so that you will not forget in your entire life. See, GST आने को 15 साल लग गए, almost 15 years. 2002-3 में डिस्कशन शुरू हुआ था, 2017 हो गए, तो 15 साल जिस एक्ट को लगे हैं, वो एक्ट इस जन्म में तो आपके साथ है ही, अगले जन्म में भी रहने वाला है. It is going to be there at least in the next birth also. So always remember, please be attentive, and whatever we are going to discuss, I will try to explain in a very simple way so that you will not forget in your entire life. So now the eligibility to take the credit. You can claim the credit only when there's a taxable business. If you are into exempted business, if your part of the activity is exempted, if you are using some of the business assets or raw material for non-business purpose, you cannot claim the credit. You cannot retain that credit. You need to reverse that. For example, educational institute, they're almost all the activities exempt. They're buying laptops, benches, they cannot claim the credit. Hospital, almost entire activities exempt. They cannot claim the credit on various machines they are buying. I hope you understood. So when it is exempted activity, you cannot claim the credit, or if you have claimed it, you have to reverse it. But assuming there is a business, one is a taxable, one is not, one is exempted. There are two businesses a taxpayer is doing under one GST. In such a case, he can claim the credit with respect to taxable activity and is required to reverse with respect to exempted. I hope you understood this. So only you can claim the credit for the taxable activity, not for the exempted. If there are both the activities, you can claim the credit only in relation to the taxable. And how to do that? There are regulations in this regards. Due to limitation of times, we will not be discussing that regulation because it's a big calculation. If it is in your syllabus, you might have studied that. Rule 42-43. But logically, just for your example, if you want to take, assuming there is a taxpayer whose credit, whose turnover is 100 crore, out of that 80 crore is taxable, 20 crore is exempted. So मोटा तौर पे उसको 80-20 रेशियो में क्रेडिट मिलेगा, मोटा तौर पे आई एम सेइंग. Did it right to take the invoice of exempted in the name of taxable business to take the ITC? Pranjal, I will suggest we should not do this. We should always recommend the client to do the business in the legal manner. We should not recommend something incorrect. बिकॉज जीएसटी में गवर्नमेंट के पास इतना डेटा है, इतना कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन है, अगर आज कुछ गलत करोगे तो आज ना कल गवर्नमेंट को मालूम ही पड़ेगा. ये जो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है ना, जीएसटी का गवर्नमेंट इतना डेटा है, वर्ल्ड में किसी के पास भी इतना बड़ा डेटा नहीं है. इट्स अ ह्यूज डेटा बैंक. कौन किससे ले रहा है, वो किससे ले रहा है, वो क्या ले रहा है, वो क्या बिजनेस कर रहा है, इस बिजनेस सेक्टर का क्या, अगर मान लो कोई अगर एक पेन मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा है तो इसका इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट रेशियो क्या है. गवर्नमेंट कैन कंपेयर विद द सेम विद द अदर एंटिटी आल्सो. गवर्नमेंट हैज अ रिकॉर्ड ऑफ HSN. So we, as a child accountant, we should always focus on the giving the correct advice to the taxpayer. उसको क्या करना है उसका देखेगा. And this government really don't like. If anyone giving the wrong advice to illegally, to avoid the taxes illegally, then this is not correct. And we should not at all think on that aspect also. Now I was discussing on the taxpayer turnover is 100 crore, 80 crore is taxable, 20 crore is exempted. So मोटा तौर पे, not exactly I am saying, just for your understanding purpose, 80-20 रेशियो में उसको क्रेडिट मिलेगा. See, now my question to all of you is that whether hospital is in the GST, whether hospital is in GST, hospital or educational institute. First, let's discuss on the hospital. Whether hospital is required to take GST registration. It is exempted, right? All of you are correct. So, hospital is not required to take the, it is exempted. So, GST registration not required. But friends, if you analyze any big hospital, they will have some taxable activity. Some taxable, any hospital in the Pune you can refer. Or any in the city, any big hospital, they will have some taxable activity. They will be selling their old machine. They will be selling the plasma. They will be renting out their premises. So some taxable activity, the medicine, right? So some taxable activity they will have, but as on date also, many big hospitals are non-compliant. They are not registered themselves in the GST with the anticipation that वो GST से बाहर है, उनको GST लगाना ही नहीं है. But आप जब एम्बुलेंस बेचते हो, जब आपके 10-10 करोड़ की मशीन बेचते हो, उसके ऊपर GST आता है. In same line, when it comes to educational institute, many big educational institute, they are feeling that they are not in GST, but they are running some private courses. Assuming there is an educational institute in Pune, they will ask me to take the GST session for their GST program or something. They will arrange with something like a tally program, which is not exempt. Or education, they will be renting out their premises. So also the big exempted, when you are doing audit for the big exempted entities, and if they are not registered in GST, or if they are registered, check whether they are doing proper compliance of GST or not. उनका एक mindset होता है, हमें GST आता ही नहीं, हम GST बाहर है. It's not that way. When one of the big hospitals from the Gujarat, they came to me, and they came to for some other query. But when we investigated their whole records and क्या करते, कैसा करते, then we told them these are all your activity coming under GST. You have to take the registration. Almost 3 years after that, they have taken the registration after implementation of GST. Again, it's a very big hospital. The receipts are more than 100 crores. But still they were non-compliant for 3-4 years. And in GST, एक दिमाग से निकाल देना कि ये बड़े कंपनी है, ये तो टैक्स कंप्लायंस करते होंगे, इनके तरफ से गलती नहीं हो सकती, हमारी कुछ गलती होगी, ऐसे नहीं है. बहुत बार काम करते वक्त मैं देखता हूँ कि जब कोई एकदम बड़ी कंपनी मतलब मैं 10-15 हजार करोड़ की बात कर रहा हूँ, उनकी तरफ से भी बहुत गलतियां होती है. But they dominate their vendors. And if you are a consultant for their vendors, you should have a discussion, you do the meetings, कि नहीं सर ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, गलत है. Yesterday only I received one call from a CM that their client has provided a services to one of the big company. It's in the cement industry. It started with the L. So he said that almost 70-80 lakhs rupees of GST credit, which they have charged to their GST, which they charged to that company. They are not making the payment because their supplier, means that client of that CA, has paid the tax late. So the liability was for the March month, but it was paid in the June month return. It is not correct. How they can hold on that payment? He has paid the tax after 2 months. It's okay, but he has paid the taxes. It is reflecting in 2B. So they must have taken the credit, but since they are dominating, they have just hold on that payment. They are not relieving that payment. They are not releasing that payment since last 2-3 years. So वो सीए भी मुझे पूछ रहा था कि सर कुछ गलत तो नहीं हो रहा है मेरी तरफ से. बोला कैसे गलत हो रहा है? कुछ गलत नहीं हो रहा है. शायद इस केस में ऐसे हुआ होगा कि वो लोगों ने उसका क्रेडिट लेना भूल गए होंगे और वो इतना बड़ा कंपनी को लॉस हो रहा है, तो वो हाईलाइट में हो, इसलिए आपको डिनाई किया जा रहा है पेमेंट. You should fight it. You should send a legal mail, legal notice. Now, ये जो exempted businesses होते हैं, they are required to take the credit only for the taxable activity. With respect to exempted activity, they are required to reverse the proportionate credit. It is prescribed by Rule 42 and 43. Again, there is a huge non-compliance when it comes to doing a reversal as per rule 42-43. We are not discussing this today due to limitation of time, but this rule again, if you do the mastery in this rule, it will again add a different edge to our professional personality. Many compliant, many exempted business entities, they are doing the non-compliance for the 42-43. Now my question is, what is zero rated supply? What is zero rated supply? Yes, friends, what is zero rated supply? Yes. So Sejal is saying 0% GST on charged. Supply includes exports. Bhushan is saying export. Dhanesh is saying exports. But not taxable exports. Exempted nil rated. Surpesh Singh saying nil rated. So friends, zero rated means zero rated means tax rate is not zero. It is neither exempted. Zero rated means export supplied to SEZ. It is defined in IGST Act. It is not nil rated, Shraddha. Purposefully I'm asking you question because आप तो स्टूडेंट हो, सीए लोग भी गलत आंसर देते इस केसेस में, जीरो रेटेड के केस में. एंड जब हम गलती करते हैं ना तो डेफिनेटली ये गलती हम आगे कभी नहीं करेंगे. सो प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड वेदर यू आर नोइंग और नॉट नोइंग. सो जीरो रेटेड सप्लाई मींस it doesn't mean that tax rate is zero. It doesn't mean that product is exempted. It doesn't mean that it is nil rated. It means exports. It means supply to SEZ. Right, section 16. So I hope you understood why the word zero rated is used, because the tax government intention is that in case of exports, in case of supply to SEZ, the tax content should be zero. Therefore, government has used the word zero rated. So zero rated doesn't mean that it is zero tax rate or nil rate or it is exempted. It means that the tax content in that zero. Government want to export the goods, export the services, not the taxes. With this policy, they have named it as zero rated. But many times I think this question might come in your exam also. Define the zero rated supply. And some student will mention that zero rated means tax rate is zero or nil rated or exempted. Not like that. The mark will be zero. So if you are doing a zero rated supply, you can get the credit. You can get the credit. So if you are doing the exports, you can claim the credit and you can claim as a refund also. So you will have avail the credit and then you will claim the refund of that. Now, my question is whether sale of land is taxable or exempted or schedule 3. Sale of land, assuming I'll give you one example which I have dealt with recently. A company whose turnover was around 80 crores in a year, they have sold their land at 200 crore. So land was sold at 200 crore. So it is taxable or exempted, or any anti reversal implication in this case? My example is that a company having turnover of taxable turnover total 80 crore in a year, they have sold their land at 200 crore. And while selling the land, they incur some expenditure on which they have paid the GST. So whether the company can claim the credit, whether it is exempted or not exempted. So for example, they have sold the land. They appointed one person to ensure that to monitor the sale of land activity. They appointed agent कि लैंड को बेचो आप और आपको जो भी होगा हम कमीशन पे करेंगे उसके ऊपर जीएसटी देंगे. सो उस जीएसटी का जो कमीशन एजेंट जीएसटी चार्ज करेगा उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या? अगर यस तो क्यों और नहीं तो क्यों? I hope you understood my question. A land sold at 200 rupees. First, whether it is taxable or not. If it is exempted or taxable or schedule 3, there's a difference, right? Schedule 3 is different. So Mayur is saying not applicable for GST. Yes, land is not, GST is not there on the land, but for selling the land I have appointed a commission agent. He has provided me the services. On that services he has charged me the GST. Can I claim it? And if you want me the numbers, the exact or approximate numbers were that around commission amount was around 5 crores and GST amount was around 90 lakhs. Approximate that in actual that amount was that much. So 90 lakhs credit, can company claim it or not? Because substantial amount. If you are saying yes, you have to give the reason. If you are saying no, then company will ask you 10 reasons why no. Vinay, you are right that sale of land is outside the scope of GST. But my question is on the services provided by the commission agent, on which I charged a 5 crore of commission for selling the 200 crore land, on which I charged 90 lakhs rupee GST. So Rupesh is saying we can claim the GST, okay. Taruna is saying we cannot claim the GST. See, whatever answer you give, you have to reply to client in detail, and there are going to be a big company, there are going to be 2-3 different consultants, auditor, tax auditor, state auditor, all are going to raise the questions on it because it's a big amount. Bhushan is saying no sir, because okay, broker services cannot be claimed as it was towards the exempted. Abhijit, but whether it is exempted transaction, Pranjali is saying sale of land is the main business, so not eligible to claim, cannot claim. Acha, just reply whether 90 lakhs rupees credit is allowed or not allowed. Those who are saying yes, first reply yes. जिनको भी yes लगता है yes reply करिए या no करिए, बस इतना ही बोलिए. So no. It's a big amount, friends. Think 10 times. Because it's 90 lakh amount. And if you are by your opinion, you are saying no, and tomorrow someone says that नहीं मिलेगा सर, मिल सकता था आपको, आपने नहीं लिया, लॉस हो गया आपका, कंपनी आपको नोटिस भेजेंगी कि आपको ऐसे हमारा लॉस हुआ, देखिए आप आपकी प्रॉपर्टी बेचिए और 90 लाख रुपए हमें दीजिए. Yes or no? Just reply yes or no. See, the answer lies in the meaning of the exempted supply. Exempted supply, we already know what exempted supply means. Nil rated, fully exempted or non-taxable, right? It is given in section 247. 2 into bracket 47, subsection 47. So Nagraj is saying yes, we can claim because it's regarding the service of an agent. So exempted supply. So whether it includes sale of land, it doesn't include sale of land, right? So sale of land is not exempted. If it is not exempted, then whether it is reversal attracted, it is attracted because for the purpose of section 17, the exempted supply is again defined. In section 17.3, they have mentioned that value of exempted supply for the purpose of section 17 includes sale of land. मतलब आईटीसी रिवर्सल के लिए ही सेल ऑफ लैंड को हम एग्जम्प्टेड मानेंगे. आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस. So only for the section 17 we will include the sale of land as an exempted supply. And if it is exempted supply, it's all related credit, it's all related input service credit is not allowed. So for selling the land, I have appointed the commission agent. He has provided the input service for that, of which credit is not allowed. I hope you understood. Now, any question on the example which I discussed? So very important, friends. Here, if you do the good or if you are well versed with the law, well versed with the subject, we can provide a good services to client, and he will have trust on you. He will retain you. He will provide you good fee. He will give a good fee. But many times I see that हम लोगों को मालूम ही नहीं होता है. हम लोग सिंपल गूगल कर लेते हैं. गूगल ITC commission agent का मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा, and Google will say yes you can get it. We will advise yes आप ले सकते हो. No, we should read the law. We should interpret the provision, and based on that we should recommend to the client. Then while once you form your opinion, thereafter you should refer the Google if you want. Anyone has done any study on that, anyone has written an article on that. But first form your own view. And GST is new law, friends. There are bound to have different views. But if you have read the law, if you are confident about your opinion, you can just compare and you can still go with your opinion. And you can say to client that, yes sir, my view is like that. There are still ambiguity in the law because GST is new. And then let client take the call. So for banking company, so Pooja, the conclusion is that sale of land is exempted for the purpose of section 17. Since it is exempted, it's all input service credit is not allowed. So मैंने लैंड बेची थी, तो उस लैंड बेचने के लिए जो भी मैंने इनपुट सर्विस लिया था, जैसे कमीशन एजेंट की सर्विस थी, उसका मुझे क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा. Now comes to the special provision for banks. This is a special provision for banks. You must have studied it. ये सब कुछ क्रेडिट लेने के लिए जब कंडीशंस होती है, कुछ करना नहीं बैंक ने, सिंपली 50% क्रेडिट डायरेक्टली लेना है, बिकॉज बैंक्स की मोस्ट ऑफ द एक्टिविटी एग्जम्प्ट होती है. So we know in the banks how they work, their approach. उनको इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड एक्टिविटी जीएसटी हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा ठीक से, उनको कौन समझाएगा. सो गवर्नमेंट बोलती है कि आपका मोस्ट ऑफ द एक्टिविटी एग्जम्प्टेड है, बिकॉज बैंक लोन देती है, लोन के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट एग्जम्प्ट है. सो बैंक्स की मोस्ट ऑफ द एक्टिविटी जीएसटी के बाहर है. सो ये सब कुछ कैलकुलेशन करना, प्रोपोर्शनेट में करना उनको पॉसिबल नहीं है. इसमें सिंपल उनको ऑप्शन दिया कि आप 50% जो भी आपका क्रेडिट है, मान लो पूरे साल का आपका 2 करोड़ का क्रेडिट है, आप 1 करोड़ लीजिए, कुछ रिवर्सल वर्किंग नहीं करना है, सिंपल मेथड. अब इसका रीजन समझिए क्यों है. कोई भी बैंक में हम जाते हैं, वो लोग हमें मालूम है किस तरह से उनका अप्रोच होता है कभी कभी. सो इतने कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोविजन वो कहाँ करते बैठेंगे, उनके पास फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन हैंडल करने हैं उनको. सो उनके लिए सिंपल अप्रोच दिया हुआ है. ये फैसिलिटी किसी और इंडस्ट्री को नहीं है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ बैंक्स को है. Now let us move with the block credit. Again, very important subtopic in ITC. ब्लॉक क्रेडिट, जिसका क्रेडिट हमें नहीं मिलता है. यहाँ पे हम क्लाइंट का क्रेडिट मैक्सिमाइज करने के लिए हम क्लाइंट को सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं कि लीगली आप कैसे क्रेडिट मैक्सिमाइज कर सकते हो, whether there is any ways, means, options by which client can maximize the credit. Now, अच्छा आप लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा तो जस्ट एक बार टाइप करिए बिफोर वी डिस्कस कि किस किस चीज का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है. ब्लॉक, इट इज ब्लॉक्ड इन सेक्शन 17(5). Just recall what you studied. Medical insurance, car, motor vehicle, personal expenditure, two-wheeler, food, motor vehicle, cosmetic surgery, staff welfare, इंश्योरेंस, पर्सनल एक्सपेंसेस वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। यहाँ पे गड़बड़ जाती है पर्सनल एक्सपेंसेस में। कुछ चीजों का क्रेडिट हम जब स्टडी करेंगे कि क्रेडिट मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, बीच में आता है क्या ये पर्सनल यूज हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है। कंपनी हैज गिवन अ टी-शर्ट्स टू इट्स एम्प्लॉई, whether credit allowed or not allowed, whether it is a personal expenditure or not expenditure. Construction activity very important, that was I am looking for. So आप लोगों ने मोटा तौर पे सब बराबर बताया है, but friends, why government is restricting this credit? नहीं देना चाहते वो क्रेडिट, आपको रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर दें। वर्ल्ड में बहुत सारी कंट्रीज उनके जीएसटी लॉ में भी, उनके वीएटी लॉ में भी क्रेडिट डिनाई करते हैं। क्यों? सिंपल रीजन, दे वांट टू इंक्रीज देयर रेवेन्यू, देयर इज नो अदर एनी थर्ड रीजन। नहीं देना इस आपको क्रेडिट, सब चीज का क्रेडिट देगा तो गवर्नमेंट को क्या रेवेन्यू मिलेगा। और उन्होंने दो बड़े इंडस्ट्री टारगेट की है सेक्शन 17(5) में, एक मोटर व्हीकल इंडस्ट्री, दूसरा कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री। बहुत बड़े इंडस्ट्री है, इंडिया के आई थिंक मेजर इंडस्ट्री हो गए। और जो भी मंथली अमाउंट आता है मेरे हिसाब से 10-15% तो ये दोनों इंडस्ट्री की वजह से आ जाता है गवर्नमेंट को। और इसका ही क्रेडिट रेस्ट्रिक्ट किया है, मतलब आपको मोटर व्हीकल क्रेडिट नहीं देंगे, मतलब हमको कंस्ट्रक्शन फैक्ट्री बिल्डअप की क्रेडिट नहीं देंगे। ये दो बड़े एक्टिविटी का क्रेडिट डिनाई किया जाता है। डीमेरिट गुड्स, सो मोटर व्हीकल क्रेडिट नॉट अलाउड, it is allowed when the capacity is more than 13. So my question is, company has bought the 10 two-wheeler, उसका यूज वो एम्प्लॉय ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए करेंगे, कुछ भी कंपनी के काम के लिए करेंगे, ऐसा कुछ पर्पस डिफाइन नहीं किया है। बट मान लो कुछ डिलीवरी देनी है, किसी को लेके आना है, कुछ सामान भेजना है, 10 टू व्हीलर बाय किए कंपनी ने, क्या वो इस चीज का क्रेडिट क्लेम कर सकते हैं या नहीं क्लेम कर सकते? My question to you is that whether two wheel is a motor vehicle or not. आप सब लोग नो तो बोल रहे हो, but first give me the answer whether two wheeler is a motor vehicle or not. So Bhavana is saying I am same doubt. Vaibhav is saying yes it is. So motor vehicle, two wheeler motor vehicle है या नहीं है? If it is not motor vehicle तो credit allowed हो जाएगा, क्योंकि सेक्शन 5 में तो मोटर व्हीकल का क्रेडिट डिसअलाउड किया, टू व्हीलर का कहा किया है। So my question is, first question before you answer, company has bought the 10 motor vehicle, whether company can claim the credit. So first question is that whether motor vehicle is a two wheeler or not. Sorry, whether two wheeler is a motor vehicle or not. So whether it is two wheeler is a motor vehicle. Yes, no, yes, no. So from where we can get the answer? It has BC capacity of not less, obviously sitting capacity of less than 13. So there is no question of sitting capacity more than 2 on the two wheeler. So from where we can get the meaning of motor vehicle, or whether two wheeler is a motor vehicle or not, from where we can get? So Abhijit and Lakshya, Vaibhav is saying right, it's a Motor Vehicle Act 1988. जब मेरे पास एक क्वेरी आई थी कंपनी की, वो एक बिजनेस करना चाहते थे और उसमें वो टू व्हीलर के मॉडल पे जा रहे थे और उनको लग रहा था, उन्होंने ओपिनियन लिया था कि हमें क्रेडिट मिल सकता है बिकॉज टू व्हीलर जो है वो मोटर व्हीकल नहीं होते। आई सेड आई कैन नॉट गिव द आंसर इमीडिएटली, आई नीड टू रीड। सो पहले हमने देखा कि मोटर व्हीकल का मीनिंग क्या है मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट में, फिर टू व्हीलर कुछ डिफाइन की क्या, फिर टू व्हीलर मोटर व्हीकल हो सकती है क्या, एंड आई कम टू कंक्लूजन दैट टू व्हीलर इज अ मोटर व्हीकल एज पर मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट एंड देयरफॉर इट्स क्रेडिट इज नॉट अलाउड। दिस वे वी शुड इंटरप्रेट द लॉ। व्हेन वी स्टक एट द मीनिंग ऑफ सम वर्ड, वी शुड check whether it is defined in the law, in the present law, in the GST law. If it is not defined in the law, whether it is defined in any other special enactment, if it is there, we should refer that special enactment. If not, then we should refer the dictionary meaning. This way we should go for an interpretation. अच्छा, कंपनी ने ट्रक लिया है, क्रेडिट मिलेगा जिसकी सिटिंग कैपेसिटी 4 लोगों की है. टेम्पो लिया है, ट्रक भी नहीं, टेम्पो लिया है. यस और नो? Abhijit saying no, Shwetali is saying yes. So credit मिलेगा because restrict किया गया है motor vehicle for transportation of persons, and truck or tempo is not for the transportation of person, it is for the transportation of goods. Therefore credit is allowed. एक्सेप्शन आप सबको मालूम ही होंगे कि अगर आप फर्दर सप्लाई कर रहे हो और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन वगैरह वगैरह, बट इंपॉर्टेंटली व्हाइल डीलिंग द बिजनेस वी शुड चेक दिस एस्पेक्ट whether the vehicle, assuming that company has bought the Maruti van for the transportation of goods, उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या? So you are saying yes and no, yes or no. मारुति वैन आप लोगों ने देखी होगी, शायद अभी वो मालूम नहीं बनती है नहीं बनती, बट पुराने जमाने में मतलब अभी भी कुछ बार हमें देखती है, बहुत बार वो कैश कैरी वैन्स होते हैं मारुति वैन. So company has bought the Maruti van for the purpose of delivering its goods, whether it is allowed or not allowed. Now, how we should deal with such questions? Answer is also not with me. But if it comes, such query comes in future, I will study it. But what should be our approach? Whether that vehicle, when it is registered, whether it is registered as an transportation of goods vehicle or transportation of passenger vehicle. If it is a registered the transportation of passenger vehicle, credit not allowed. It doesn't matter what use you are doing. But assuming still client is saying no, मैंने 100 Maruti van purchase की और मैं मेरे सिर्फ और सिर्फ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स के लिए यूज करने वाला हूं, तो हम क्लाइंट को बोल सकते हैं कि सर, in such a case, if you want to take little risk, you can claim the credit, but it will be disputed by department. In such a case, you have to fight the case till the tribunal, high court. And I think charges are brighter because Maruti van बहुत बार transportation of goods के लिए use की जाती है. So Apeksha is saying Zomato buy two-wheeler for delivery purpose. Can they claim the credit? So Apeksha, again the same answer. If that two-wheeler, I'm not sure about motor vehicle act, but if two-wheeler is going to be registered for the purpose of transportation of person only, then credit is not allowed. But if Zomato want to take little risk, because there's another view, because Zomato when it is buying two-wheeler, it is not buying the two-wheeler for the person, it is buying the two-wheeler for the delivery of the goods only. But it's registration of the vehicle as a passenger, then Zomato have to take some, if they are ready to take the risk, that हम देखेंगे आगे झगड़ेंगे, क्योंकि यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट की इंटेंशन है सीमलेस क्रेडिट हो, अच्छा फ्लो क्रेडिट का, कैस्केडिंग ऑफ टैक्सेस ना हो, हमें देना चाहिए. मैं आगे जब कंस्ट्रक्शन पे आऊंगा तब एग्जांपल आपको देता हूं कि इसको एक ओडिशा हाईकोर्ट में एक चैलेंज किया गया है ऐसे एक मैटर में. So motor vehicle is okay, you must have understood now. Now service of general insurance, servicing, repair, maintenance of motor vehicle. इसका सिंपल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऐसा है, जिस मोटर व्हीकल का क्रेडिट हमें मिलता है उसका हम रिपेयर्स, मेंटेनेंस, इंश्योरेंस का क्रेडिट ले सकते हैं. जिस मोटर व्हीकल का हमें क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है उसका हम इंश्योरेंस का क्रेडिट नहीं क्लेम कर सकते. बाद में फूड, बेवरेजेस, रेंटिंग, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है. मेंबरशिप ऑफ अ क्लब, हेल्थ फिटनेस सेंटर. Pura asking question, sir, can we claim the ITC on the material insurance? So transport insurance, material insurance, goods insurance का क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा? So insurance is taken of the goods, not of the vehicle. So goods credit, it is not restricted. Definitely credit allowed. Sir, what about the electric scooter? Tarun, I need to study what is the meaning of electric scooter in the Motor Vehicle Act. It's a good question. So if this query comes in future in time from a client, so I will study it. But as of now, we'll have to refer the Motor Vehicle Act. I don't know whether it is defined in Motor Vehicle Act or not. But I think amendment हुआ होगा क्योंकि मोटर व्हीकल अभी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल तो काफी पॉपुलर है. मेंबरशिप ऑफ क्लब का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है, ट्रैवल बेनिफिट एक्सटेंडेड टू एम्प्लॉइज का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है, वगैरह वगैरह. Sir, what about lubricants used for the JCB? Pooja is asking the question. So what do you feel, Pooja? आपको क्या लगता है क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा? फर्स्ट यस. अच्छा मुझे पहले बताओ जेसीबी का क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा? So JCB is not for the transportation of persons, right? So JCB is not for the transportation of persons. So JCB का क्रेडिट मिलेगा, JCB रिलेटेड सब चीजों का क्रेडिट मिलेगा. Understood? Now question is that, see this block credit now you can do a good mastery in that and you can become a good GST consultant. You can provide a good services, a value addition. A GST is such a subject now, it touches the each and every part of the organization. You know, when you are working in GST or indirect taxes, custom, foreign trade, you get to know various aspects, various transactions. Some transactions which company management will not tell you, but they will come to you for asking the opinion. Then you can ask them the 100 questions about it. Just one question is coming into my mind. Company has bought the coffee machine, coffee maker machine. That machine we see in the companies, na Nescafe machine. Whether it's ITC allowed, yes or no? So Weber is saying no, Abhi is saying no, Kashyap is saying. Those who are saying no, please tell me under which clause of GST law. फूड का क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है, फूड मशीन का कहां बोला है? Friend, such questions I see that many professionals without reading their reply. We should avoid such practice. Every time आज भी जीएसटी कुछ भी क्वेरी आती है, मैं आज भी जीएसटी का वेयर एक्ट पढ़ता हूं और मेरा व्यू निकालता हूं कि व्हाट आई फील. We should not just अरे नहीं इसका नहीं मिलना चाहिए, इसका मिलता है, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. You should again read the provision. यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? फूड एंड बेवरेजेस. यहाँ पे लिखा है क्या? फूड की मशीन. Vaibhav, it is not used for the business purpose. No, Vaibhav, it is used for the business purpose. दोपहर को नींद आती लोगों को. आप में से अभी almost 177 people यहाँ पे और शायद लाइव चल रहा होगा तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स होंगे, सो रहे होंगे, थोड़ी बहुत नींद आती होगी. कॉफी लगती है कंपनीज में एम्प्लॉइज को देने के लिए. इट इज फॉर द बिजनेस पर्पस. सी मैंने जो आपको शुरुआत में बताया था, इन द कोर्स ऑफ फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस, सब कुछ जो बिजनेस के लिए खर्चा किया गया है उसका सबका क्रेडिट मिलेगा. रोहन इज आस्किंग क्वेश्चन, कॉपी मशीन इज टेकन ऑन द रेंट. रोहन में थोड़ा तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन बाजू में रखता हूं. पहले तो मैंने कॉपी मशीन बाय की, उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा वो मुझे बताओ. विवेक इज सेइंग यस. सी ये छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं और आप कोई भी कंपनी लो जिसका 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा हो, आप एक मंथ का उसका वेरिफिकेशन करोगे, उसमें आपको 10 ऐसे क्वेश्चन आएंगे और आप वहां पे उनको बोल सकते सर आप यहाँ पे गलत करते हो, यहाँ पे गलत करते हो, यहाँ पे गलत करते हो. वो बोलेगा मैं इतना गलत करता हूँ, मैं क्या काम कर रहा हूँ. और फिर बोलेंगे काम करो सर, आपके अच्छी और आपका इनवॉइस दो हमें, आप अच्छी सर्विस दो, आपका कोटेशन दो और अभी सब आप देखो. आई डोंट वांट एनी हेडेक. आपके साथ मैरिज कर लेगा वो. मैरिज इन द सेंस प्रोफेशनल मैरिज आई एम सेइंग. सी कॉफी मशीन का क्रेडिट मिलेगा. इट इज नॉट रेस्ट्रिक्टेड. The only place where department can try to deny it is a personal consumption, personal expenses. कहाँ पे गया वो personal वाला? Her goods or services used for the personal consumption. शायद डिपार्टमेंट यहाँ पे डालने की कोशिश कर सकता है, बट अगर यहाँ पे वो डालेंगे तो वैसे तो जिस चेयर पे बैठा वो भी पर्सनल कंजम्पशन हुआ, जो फैन होता है वो भी पर्सनल कंजम्पशन हुआ, तो सब कुछ ऐसा डिनाई थोड़ी कर सकते हैं। सो मेरे हिसाब से मिलना चाहिए, बट अभी व्हाट शुड बी योर अप्रोच टू रिप्लाइंग व्हाइल रिप्लाइंग टू कंपनी और क्लाइंट और टैक्स पेयर? वी शुड मेंशन दैट डियर सर, द कॉफी मशीन इज definitely used for the business purpose. It should credit is allowed as per section 16. Under section 17(5), some credits are denied, some credits are blocked, in which food is blocked. However, it is a food machine, therefore it is not blocked specifically. There is one special clause as per which the personal consumption credit is disallowed. In our considered view, this is not for the personal consumption, therefore this item should be allowed. However, in future department may litigate that, and in such a case company has to reply. और फोन पे बता देना सर आप ले लीजिए, थोड़ा बहुत शायद कभी झगड़ा हो सकता है, बट लेना चाहिए। अच्छा, there is a company, automobile industry company. They have taken a membership of a All India Automobile Association. They have taken the membership of All India Automobile Association. The charges are for 1 year 10 lakhs, GST is 1,80,000. There is a company in the automobile manufacturing that turnover is 500 crore. उनका टर्नओवर 500 करोड़ है। उन्होंने ऑल इंडिया ऑटोमोबाइल एसोसिएशन की मेंबरशिप ली है, जिसकी अमाउंट है 10 लाख, उसके ऊपर का जीएसटी है 1,80,000। क्या इसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा या नहीं? So Kashyap is saying no, Lakshya is saying yes, Shwetal is saying yes. मिलेगा? It's a membership. Repeat the question. So there is a company, automobile manufacturing company, turnover 500 crore. It has taken the membership of an All India Automobile Association. That membership charges for 1 year is 10 lakhs, on which GST is 1,80,000. Can the company claim that credit of 1,80,000? So no, yes, no, yes. Friends, again, read your screen. What I am saying, membership of a club is restricted. Whether All India Automobile Association is a club, सर पीपीटी मिलेगा क्या? हाँ मिलेगा, मिलेगा। पहले मेरा क्वेश्चन का आंसर दो। Whether All India Automobile Association is a club or not? If it is not a club, there is no question of restricting the credit. You can claim the credit, you can retain it. बहुत बार कंपनियां मिस्टेक कर जाते हैं इस प्रोविजंस के लिए। फ्रेंड्स, ये जो क्लॉज है, इसके ऊपर काफी एम्बिग्यूटी थी इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन करने के लिए 2-3 जगह पे। तो इसके ऊपर एक सर्कुलर इशू आता, ड्यू टू लिमिटेशन ऑफ टाइम आई विल नॉट डिस्कस दैट, बट आप अगर इंटरप्रिटेशन समझना चाहते हो तो आप इस सर्कुलर पे एक बार पढ़ लेना। इसमें दिया हुआ है कि क्या एम्बिग्यूटी थी और उसका क्या क्लैरिफिकेशन है। नाउ कम्स टू द कंस्ट्रक्शन। नाउ वेदर ऑनलाइन सेशन विदाउट द इंटरेक्शन लेना बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है। सो आई रियली थैंक्स कि आप सब लोग अच्छे से इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हो। अदरवाइज एक ही आदमी बड़बड़ करेगा, समझ में नहीं आता आप लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है। बट ऑल ऑफ यू आर मेकिंग इट इंटरेक्टिव, सो आई एम आल्सो फीलिंग इंटरेस्ट कि चलो और बताएं आपको। नाउ वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विस और कंस्ट्रक्शन, मैंने आपको बताया था 2 चीजों को, बड़े एक्टिविटी को डिनाई किया गया, उसमें से कि वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री। सो जो भी कंस्ट्रक्शन का खर्चा किया जाता है, कोई कंपनी फैक्ट्री बना रही, कोई अपने शॉप बना रहा है, ये सब का क्रेडिट डिनाई किया जाता है। हम कंस्ट्रक्शन बिल्डिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स में नहीं जा रहे अभी, जो बिल्डर वगैरह एक्टिविटी उनको मिल जाता है क्योंकि उनका वही सप्लाई होता है। बट जैसे मैं मेरे ऑफिस की बिल्डिंग बना रहा हूँ, मैं मेरी फैक्ट्री की बिल्डिंग बना रहा हूँ, मैं मेरी फैक्ट्री में रिपेयर, रिकंस्ट्रक्शन, रिनोवेशन कर रहा हूँ, कुछ बड़ा खर्चा कर रहा हूँ, मुझे क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है। क्रेडिट कब मिलता है? जब व्हेन आई एम डूइंग द सेम सप्लाई फर्दर, मैंने बिल्डिंग बनाई, मैंने फ्लैट्स बनाए और फ्लैट बेचे, तो मुझे क्रेडिट मिल सकता है, लिखा है एक्सेप्ट व्हेन इट इज फॉर फर्दर सप्लाई, बट अदरवाइज क्रेडिट डिनाई किया जाता है। इन लास्ट 4-5 years आई थिंक हमारे बहुत सारे क्लाइंट इस अगर अमाउंट का भी टोटल ले लो 50-100 करोड़ का क्रेडिट तो उन्होंने लिया ही नहीं होगा। कोई भी बड़ी फैक्ट्री बनाता है तो 10-1 करोड़ का 15 करोड़ का तो स्ट्रक्चरिंग का खर्चा होता है, क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है। अंडरस्टूड? अब इसमें हाउ वी शुड इंटरप्रेट दिस प्रोविजन? All the immovable property related expenditure credit is not allowed. Now what comes to immovable property? Construction, renovation, addition, repair, it means ये सब कुछ एक्टिविटी, पेंटिंग, मेंटिंग, पीओपी, इंटरनल वायरिंग, टाइलिंग, फ्लोरिंग, इसका क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता है। Now my question is, company has done expenditure, उन्होंने उनके ऑफिस में पार्टीशन किया है, वो पार्टीशन बनाए, उन्होंने कुछ कंस्ट्रक्टेड एक्टिविटी बनाई, उसमें कुछ कांच का काम किया है और पार्टीशन बनाया है, एक वॉल क्रिएट की है और उसका खर्चा 5 लाख का हुआ है, क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा? So no sir, right? Because immutable property means as per the transfer property act में define किया गया है, so immutable property में anything attached to the earth, land, permanently attached, fastened वगैरह वगैरह वर्ड यूज किए गए हैं। so जब हम पार्टीशन करते हैं वो फिक्स स्ट्रक्चर बन जाता है, उसको निकालने की कोशिश करेंगे टूट जाएगा, so it has become immutable property। कंपनी ने शेड बनाई है, एम्प्लॉय के गाड़ी के पार्किंग के लिए शेड बनाई है, क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा? whether company can claim the credit or not? no, because जब वो शेड कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं वो एक अटैच की जाती है अर्थ को, एक परमानेंट स्ट्रक्चर बनाया जाता है, इसलिए क्रेडिट डिनाई करेंगे। अच्छा, कंपनी ने छोटा मोटा रिपेयर का एक्टिविटी किया है जो पीएनएल को कैपिटल पीएनएल में डाला है, बिल्डिंग रिलेटेड कुछ रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस किया है, कुछ पेंटिंग मीटिंग कुछ किया है छोटा मोटा, या कुछ भी काम किया जो रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस में आ जाता है, तो उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा? मिलेगा, बिकॉज टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ कैपिटलाइजेशन वर्ड यूज किया गया है लॉ में। सो जो भी आप कैपिटलाइज नहीं करोगे उसका क्रेडिट मिल सकता है, बट हु विल डिसाइड दैट ये कैपिटलाइज होगा कि नहीं होगा? इट्स कंपनी शुड डिसाइड दैट, आई विल नॉट डिसाइड। इन सच केस आई सिंपली रिप्लाई टू कंपनी, आपको क्या लगता है, आपके ऑडिटर को क्या लगता है, आपके कंसर्न और स्टेट ऑडिटर को क्या लगता है, कैपिटलाइज होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? अगर होना चाहिए तो नहीं मिलेगा, अगर नहीं होना चाहिए तो हम लेंगे, बट आपको आगे जाके इसका एक मुझे पैराग्राफ देना पड़ेगा व्हाई इट इज अ कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर। वैसे तो मैं भी बोल सकता हूं, बट मुझे नहीं बोलना है, मुझे मेरा स्कोप क्यों बढ़ाना है अननेसेसरली? कल जाके गलती हुई, ये कैपिटल था या नहीं था, मैं क्यों रिस्पॉन्सिबल रहूं? अंडरस्टूड? नाउ मशीन फाउंडेशन, कंपनी ने मशीन ली है, अगेन सेम एग्जांपल, कितने रुपए की मशीन थी हमारी? 50 करोड़ की शायद, बराबर है। उसका फाउंडेशन करने के लिए लगभग 5 करोड़ का सिविल वर्क करना पड़ा, वाइब्रेशन ना हो, 5 करोड़ का सिविल वर्क करना पड़ा उस मशीन फाउंडेशन के लिए, उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा? यस और नो? सो इसका आंसर हमें मिलता है, प्लांट एंड मशीनरी को अदर देन प्लांट एंड मशीनरी यहाँ पे डिफाइन किया है कि ये जो ब्लॉक क्रेडिट में प्लांट एंड मशीनरी नहीं आएगा, और प्लांट एंड मशीनरी को डिफाइन किया अलग से, जिसका मीनिंग मैंने मेरे आगे के स्लाइड में दिया है। प्लांट एंड मशीनरी इंक्लूड सच फाउंडेशन, मतलब प्लांट एंड मशीनरी का फाउंडेशन भी हम प्लांट एंड मशीनरी में मानेंगे, और प्लांट एंड मशीनरी को अलग से सेक्शन 17(5)(c) से निकाला है, मतलब उसको ब्लॉक नहीं है, ब्लॉक नहीं मतलब उसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा। So now friends, एक जो डिसीजन मैं आपके साथ डिस्कस कर रहा था, जब मैं कोई प्रॉपर्टी कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहा हूं और मैं पूरी की पूरी प्रॉपर्टी रेंट पे देने वाला हूं, मेरा फर्दर सप्लाई फ्लैट नहीं है या बिल्डिंग नहीं है बट मेरा रेंट है, तो क्या मुझे क्रेडिट मिलेगा? एज पर द सेक्शन 17(5)(c) क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। बट ओडिशा हाई कोर्ट ने एक जजमेंट दिया है सफाई रेंटेड के केस में, अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में पेंडिंग है। इसमें हाई कोर्ट में बोला गया है कि ये जो रेस्ट्रिक्शन एक्ट में दिया गया है गलत है। इट इज रेस्ट्रिक्टिंग द सीमलेस फ्लो ऑफ द क्रेडिट। मैंने जो आपको बताया था शुरुआत में, हाई कोर्ट हैज वेंट इनटू द ऑब्जेक्ट बिहाइंड द जीएसटी, कि हम जीएसटी क्यों ला रहे थे। अगर जीएसटी लाने का इंटेंशन था कि सीमलेस क्रेडिट हो, तो जो लोग कोई प्रॉपर्टी कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हैं और पूरी की पूरी रेंट पे दे रहे हैं, उनका क्रेडिट सेक्शन 17(5)(c) में रेस्ट्रिक्ट करना गलत है। इट इज नॉट एज पर द रीजन बिहाइंड द लॉ, इट्स इंट्रोडक्शन। देयरफॉर हाई कोर्ट हैज स्ट्रक डाउन दैट प्रोविजन एंड हैज सेड दैट इनका क्रेडिट मिलना चाहिए। अभी ये प्रोविजन, अभी ये मैटर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में पेंडिंग है। तो इसलिए बहुत जरूरी होता है कि हम जो भी प्रोविजन पढ़ते हैं उसका रीजन, उस एक्ट का क्या है, हमें मालूम होना चाहिए। क्रेडिट और कुछ चीजों का नहीं मिलता, जैसे पर्सनल कंजम्पशन, गुड्स लॉस्ट, स्टोलन क्रेडिट। इसका पर्सनल कंजम्पशन काफी एक एम्बिगियस टर्म है। पर्सनल कंजम्पशन, जैसे कंपनी ने टी शर्ट ली एम्प्लॉय के लिए, क्रेडिट मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा? कंपनी ने दिया टी शर्ट सबको, चलो बताइए, आप मुझे बताओ इसका क्रेडिट मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा? सी देखिए, आप सब लोग सब जीएसटी प्रोविजन जानते हो, बट आपके भी आंसर डिफरेंट आ रही है। यही आंसर में अगर ये हम क्वालिफाइड लोगों के लिए भी लेते तो उनके भी आंसर डिफरेंट आते थे। इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट हमें अगर इसमें थोड़ा अच्छा नॉलेज मिल जाता है तो हम अच्छी सर्विस दे सकते हैं। एंड देयर इज ह्यूज स्कोप इन जीएसटी फ्रेंड्स, ह्यूज स्कोप इन जीएसटी। आज की तारीख में मेरे हिसाब से बहुत सारे कंपनी को बहुत अच्छे प्रोफेशन की जरूरत है, बट वो नहीं अवेलेबल है। सो टी शर्ट के केस में क्या होगा? पर्सनल कंजम्पशन है नहीं है, डिपेंड्स। जब ये क्वेश्चन हमें आया था तो हमने पूछा कंपनी का, आपकी कुछ पॉलिसी है क्या ये टी शर्ट के बारे में? तो बोले है हमारी पॉलिसी, ये टी शर्ट आप घर पे यूज नहीं कर सकते हो, इसको ऑफिस में यूज करना है, इसको ऑफिस में कंपलसरी यूज करना है सैटरडे को। मतलब फिर पर्सनल कंजम्पशन का हुआ, ये तो आपकी पॉलिसी हो गई, क्रेडिट डिसअलाउड नहीं होगा। बट हमने ऑफिस में ओपिनियन नीचे डाला, बट डिपार्टमेंट इसको लिटिगेट कर सकता है। बट हमारे हिसाब से मिलना चाहिए, बिकॉज आपकी पॉलिसी है, इसका घर पे यूज नहीं करना है, इसका यूज सैटरडे को कंपलसरी ऑफिस में करना है। Now last, goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off, disposed of by a gift or free sample, credit नहीं मिलेगा। Goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off, disposed of by a gift or free sample, इसका क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। You cannot claim the credit, you have to reverse it. Now my question is that कंपनी ने उनके बुक्स में एक करोड़ के इनपुट रॉ मटेरियल को राइट ऑफ कर दिया। 1 करोड़ जिसकी वैल्यू थी, वो बहुत सालों से पड़े हुए थे, लगभग 15-20 साल से कंपनी के बैलेंस शीट में आ रहे थे, और वो स्टॉक एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता था। कंपनी सब फिजिकल स्टॉक टिकेटिंग किया, सब कुछ किया, देन दे अराइव्ड हियर, ये स्टॉक है ही नहीं हमारे पास, ये बहुत सालों से पड़ा हुआ है, 15-20 साल हो गए, ये 1 करोड़ के स्टॉक कंपनी ने राइट ऑफ किया। रॉ मटेरियल, फिनिश गुड्स, कुछ भी हो सकता है। इसका क्रेडिट मुझे रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा या नहीं? Whether I am required to reverse the credit, yes or no? I have written off that stock. Refer the para H in front of your screen. Am I required to reverse the credit or no? Yes, reverse required. Yes, reverse. Madhuri Singh, yes. Friends, again, what we should ask to company, सर 15-20 साल पुराने, इसमें कुछ जीएसटी का क्रेडिट लिया है कि आपने जो रिवर्स करना है? कुछ लिया ही नहीं तो दूं क्या मैं, बराबर। अगर आपने क्रेडिट इसके ऊपर का जीएसटी का कुछ लिया ही नहीं है तो रिवर्स क्यों करना है? यू अंडरस्टैंड माय क्वेश्चन, मतलब माय एक्सप्लेनेशन। और कंपनी के लिए भी जस्ट ढूंढना भी डिफिकल्ट था, उन्होंने ढूंढा भी 10 साल 15 साल का रिकॉर्ड, उनको पॉसिबल ही नहीं हो रहा था कि कब के गुड्स है, मे बी इट मे बी 30 20 40 इयर्स ओल्ड। सो ऐसे केसेस में जहां पे जिसका क्रेडिट मैंने क्लेम ही नहीं किया है उसका ब्लॉक कैसे होगा, राइट गौरव? बट ऐसे केसेस में डिपार्टमेंट क्या करता है, जब ऑडिट को आता है ना, वो देखते हैं रिटर्न ऑफ, वो सिंपली उनका एक ऑडिट का ऑब्जर्वेशन बनाते हैं, कंपनी ने 1 करोड़ का रिवर्स किया है, रॉ मटेरियल राइट ऑफ किया है, इसके ऊपर 18 लाख की लायबिलिटी बनती है। गलत है, ऐसा नहीं बन सकती। लिया नहीं तो कैसे आप बोल रहे हो? ये जीएसटी में 36(4) रूल है, एज पर विच इट इज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन 2019 अक्टूबर। गवर्नमेंट सेड कि जितना आपको दिख रहा है उतना ही आप क्रेडिट ले सकते हो, उससे ज्यादा सिर्फ 20% अलाउड करेंगे। देन दे अमेंडेड इट, देन दे सेड कि मैक्सिमम 10% अलाउ करेंगे जितना दिख रहा है, मतलब 2B में जीएसटीआर 2B। व्हाट इज जीएसटीआर 2B? दोज हु आर नॉट अवेयर, जीएसटीआर 2B मींस मेरे जो सप्लायर है जो मुझे माल बेचते हैं वो सब कुछ मेरे सप्लायर उनके जीएसटी रिटर्न में दिखाते हैं और वो मेरे जीएसटीआर 2B में दिखता है कि मैंने इनसे बाय किया हुआ है। तो एज पर रूल 36(4) मुझे बोला गया था शुरुआत में कि जितना 2B में दिख रहा है उससे मैं सिर्फ 20% ज्यादा ले सकता हूँ, बाद में बोला गया 10% ही ले सकता हूँ, बाद में बोला गया 5% ले सकता हूँ, और अभी लास्ट ईयर से बोला कि 0, जितना दिखता है उतना ही मिलेगा। See now this ITC blocking, this concept was not there when GST was introduced. ITC ब्लॉक करके ऐसा कोई कंसेप्ट नहीं था, मतलब ब्लॉकिंग जो हमने 17(5) देखा वो अलग है, यहाँ पे अलग ब्लॉक है। यहाँ पे तो मतलब पूरा आपका ब्लॉक ही कर देते हैं, नहीं नो एंट्री जैसे, यहाँ पे एंट्री नहीं, यहाँ पे आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा, डिनाई करेंगे, ये आपका ब्लॉक करेंगे हम। सो व्हाट हैज हैपेंड, इस प्रोविजन का इस जन्म हुआ था 2020 में जून जुलाई अगस्त के आसपास, जब गवर्नमेंट की ओर से डेटा आया कि जीएसटी में बहुत बोगस क्रेडिट लिया गया है, लगभग 1 लाख करोड़ का बोगस क्रेडिट है, 70-80 लाख का। देन गवर्नमेंट केम विद द वेरी फैंटास्टिक कंसेप्ट, अगर हमारे पास ऐसी जानकारी है कि किसी ने अगर गलत क्रेडिट लिया है तो हम उसका डायरेक्टली ऑनलाइन ब्लॉक कर देंगे, ऑनलाइन ही ब्लॉक लगा देते हैं आपके इसमें, ऑनलाइन आपका जीएसटी के अकाउंट में ब्लॉक लगा देते हैं, उसको जीएसटी ब्लॉकिंग की कंसेप्ट है। ये पहले नहीं था, ये अभी आया है 2 साल पहले, इसलिए मैंने आपको शुरुआत में बताया था जीएसटी पहले अलग था, अभी अलग है, शायद और 3-4 साल में अलग होगा। और अभी तो जो जीएसटी वो काफी अनस्टेबल है, हर बार कुछ ना कुछ चेंजेस हो जाते हैं। 1 फरवरी को बजट में के बाद कुछ चेंजेस हुए, अभी 18 तारीख को मीटिंग हुई, अभी भी कुछ चेंजेस हुए, और अभी भी आने वाले दिन में कुछ और चेंजेस है। I don't know when the law will stabilize. इस तरह से ब्लॉक करते हैं, आप देखिए आपको यहाँ पे दिखेगा। Now again, many taxpayers they are not aware that उनका क्रेडिट ब्लॉक किया गया है। जैसे यहाँ पे दिख रहा है कि क्रेडिट इज 12 करोड़ 91 लाख, आउट ऑफ विच 1 करोड़ 26 लाख इज ब्लॉक्ड क्रेडिट। मतलब इतना क्रेडिट डिपार्टमेंट ने ब्लॉक कर दिया, आप यूज ही नहीं कर पाओगे उतना, डायरेक्ट ऑनलाइन ही ब्लॉक लगा दिया है। आरसीएम का क्रेडिट हम उसी मंथ में ले सकते हैं। कंपेंसेशन सेस जो होता है, क्या कैन आई क्लेम द क्रेडिट ऑफ कंपेंसेशन सेस? यस और नो? सो आई कैन क्लेम द क्रेडिट ओनली इफ आई हैव अ कंपेंसेशन सेस लायबिलिटी। So with this I complete my session. I thanks to all of you for your patient hearing. Of course आपको आपके वीडियोस तो ऑफ ही रहेंगे शायद, और आप म्यूटेड ही थे तो आपको पेशेंटफुली सुनना था, बट अगेन थैंक्स, also thanks to the branch, Rajesh sir, Mosil ma'am, Sachin sir and all 22 branches, Rishikesh, for giving me this opportunity to take this session, and also thanks to all the students. If you have any question, you can ask me afterwards. Here is my number, and also if you want to receive the GST updates, you can just text me on this number. We will send you the GST updates. So over to Vikasa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for an amazing and valuable insight. Yes, sir. Now, I would like to ask, yes, sir.
No, go ahead.
Now, I would like to ask Pune Chairman, because Pune Vikasa Chairman, C. Sachin Minia, sir, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Swapnil sir, for a really detailed interactive session with the students. And I think this is this is my first program after taking over the chairmanship of Vikasa. And we are starting with a test match because this is a 5-day GST series that we are conducting for the students. And the opening session was really very well. And thanks a lot for the most interactive session. And I suppose students, you all also enjoyed the session very much. So be logged in for tomorrow's session as well. And we would have more such interactive sessions over next 4 days to go. And I would suggest that if you can really ask as many questions as you have to the speaker, that will give clarity to you as well. And this can really help you in your day-to-day activities that you are doing in your offices. Because इसमें हम जो बोलते हैं ना कि it can be a win-win situation, not only for we, the branch, for having a successful program, but you as well. क्योंकि at one end आपकी पढ़ाई भी हो रही है, and at the same point of time, आपको ये जो कुछ discussions हो रहा है या detailed knowledge sharing जो हो रहा है, that will be helpful for you for your day-to-day office operations as well. So I once again thank Swapnil, Munot sir for sparing time and addressing this session, and I'm thankful to all the 22 branches who have joined us for this program, and really they have given a great boost to have a successful program over here. Thank you very much. See you everyone tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin sir. Thank you, everyone. And I request all the students to also send me your feedbacks, how you found the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on day 1. And we'll see you soon, day 2. Till then, until then, stay tuned. Everyone is requested to join the same link for day 2. This is Mehal Chaudhary signing off.